Hello. The purpose of this demo is to show you the integration between our own application called Scarlet or Scarlet Network and Google. This is our development environment, and the development environment is actually .NET versus .com. We have not deployed this to production, obviously, because of the approval process. Once the application is approved, then we'll be able to promote this to production. Please note that the Google signage or the integration that you see down here has nothing to do with this particular video demonstration. Please ignore. It uses different client IDs and different application. This is not the intended use of this demo. The intended use of this demo is to show you exactly what we're going through this authorization process for, which is the ability to connect a user account or somebody who's going to log into the Scarlet Network application and have the ability to send emails, view emails, and sync their calendar. It's a productivity enhancement or module that we've added to the platform. I will show you everything from start to finish. I'm now going to log in with this particular test user, and this test user, I have provided all their information in the submission. Please feel free to use it, log in, and navigate and follow the exact same steps that I have followed in here. So it's dzoo2005@gmail.com, and then the password that I provided, I will not say it here, but you can check it in the submission. I'm going to log in, and once I'm logged in, so I'm impersonating this test user called Daniel Zoo. Please ignore everything in here. The only part that you need to be concerned about any integration that we've done is this deal origination system. Okay, so I'm going to click on the deal origination system, then the system will open up. Now, to give you some background on what this system is all about, so you understand the business use of it, which is extremely important. The user is a mortgage broker, and the data that exists within any file in here, or any what we call a deal, when I click a new deal or I click on any of those numbers, means it's a client deal. So the broker is trying to submit a deal on behalf of their client over to the bank to get them a mortgage. This part is extremely important. Now, why do we need to have an integration with Google? Brokers are required to communicate with the client, they're required to communicate with the underwriter, with the lender, and it's all communication over email. What they're trying to avoid, or what we're trying to avoid for productivity reasons, is not have the user bounce out of the system here, leave the system, go to their Outlook or Gmail account, and then or Gmail account here in order to communicate with the client and type their email address. The intended use is to do some very basic things, like send an email from the file, so the email remains inside the file, to be able to view the email inside the file, in order to be able to synchronize a calendar item from the system over to the Google Calendar. These are primarily the only three things that we need in the system from a productivity perspective. Now, step number one through this process is how to connect a user Gmail account to their own Scarlet account. Some very basic stuff. So we go to settings, we click on user email settings. Please ignore everything in here because those are all test accounts. I'm going to remove that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm logged in as Daniel Zoo, but I'm going to also connect my account. Obviously, Daniel Zoo is just a fictitious user, but I personally have an account called joe.factory@gmail.com. You can see it here. You can see it here. Okay, or this online accounts. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's joe.factory@gmail.com. That's the account that we're going to use. So here, I'm going to add an account. I'm going to select Google because that's what I need. I can alternatively add an Office 365 or just regular SMTP. That is not part of this video. We can just click on Google. Here, I'm going to select which account I want to connect. So I'm going to click connect on Joseph Factory. And now my account is fully connected. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few steps back to clear the security connection from my Gmail account to show you exactly how the scopes are granted. So I'm going to go back to Joe Factory. I'll click on Manage Account. I'm going to click on Security, and I'm going to select, I believe, Scarlet Network by Axiom Innovations. So Axiom Innovations is the name of the company. Scarlet Network is the product. I'm going to remove access. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to refresh my screen. OK. Notice that now Joe Factory here has lost access. So let's remove him and start this whole thing again. Add account. Add Google. Click on Joseph Factory. And because our application is not yet verified, we're going to say continue. We're going to allow the scopes. There's only 4 scopes that we need. We don't need any more than that. We might need some in the future, but we can go through another review process. One is we need the ability to view and edit events in a calendar. Obviously, I need access to the calendar for that user, Joe Factory. I need to be able to download any calendar that you can access using Google Calendar. We're going to allow that. I need to send an email from that account. I need to be able to view an email from that account. Only 4 scopes. Okay, everything has been granted. Okay, now if we go down to Joe Factory, this is the account. It's on. Everything looks good. We're going to set it as default because that's the account that I want to use to send emails and do everything I need to do. Now so that's step number 1, is connecting the Scarlet account to Google account. Now let's go to mortgage applications and let's open any file in here. So let's use this EXUA 689. I'm just going to open up any random deal. Now all the communication happens from what we call the communication tab. At the end, the most important part here is for a user or for a broker to communicate with the client, to communicate with the lender, and have the ability to see all the entire conversation back and forth inside the file, so they don't have to search for the information inside the inbox at any given time. So here I'm going to show you the basic things, which is actually all the things that we need anyways. First of all, I have never sent an email to anybody in here from that file. That's why I see no messages found. But I'm going to send an email now. So I'm going to send an email. It's coming from my joe.factory@gmail.com because that's the account that I actually added and authorized. I'm going to send an email to this client, in this case, joe.factory@axiominnovations.com. Okay, I'm going to add a subject, a demo for Google verification process. And then here, hi client, this is your broker. Okay, and I'm going to click on send. Okay, this email is gone. Notice now that this email is actually inside the file. That is the most important part of this entire process. So now every time I go, let's say I'm out of the file, and I go back into the file, and I click on communication, I can see this information. I can view the email. Okay, so we're going to close. I can reply if I want to. Also discard. I can reply all if there's more than one recipient. Nothing crazy. And I can forward this email. Most important, what I wanted to show you is that this email was actually received in my inbox. Hi client, this is your broker. So what I'm going to do is say, thanks broker. I got your email. I look forward to more updates. Regards. We're going to send this email back. So now the confirmation has gone back and forth. Let's go back to the system here and potentially refresh the screen. Okay, now you can see that this email was received back here. On the same token, you can see in my inbox here that the same email is actually here as well. So the client, excuse me, primarily the broker doesn't skip a beat. So this is really the intended purpose here. Again, I can go back out. Okay, I can click on this file again. I can click on communication. And I've got everything that I need in here. And this is really the intended purpose. So this is part number 2, is the ability to send and view emails inside the tool for convenience purposes after the user has authorized this authentication. The third piece, which is extremely important, is, let's go back to email settings. Sorry, this is not the right function, is what we call sync settings. There's only one option in here. Obviously, I want to be able to create calendar entries. When I create something in my calendar inside this tool, I would like it to synchronize over to the Google Calendar. So here, I can select which calendar that I want. And I can select if I want a one-way or a two-way sync. But let's say one-way sync for now. One-way sync means that I can push the information to Google, but I don't want any updates back from Google. Okay, so we did one-way sync. Now everything is connected. I'm going to go to something called activities, and we will create one entry in the system now. I will create activity, Google verification demo calendar sync. And let's say I want to make this as of today, that's fine. And we'll synchronize it at maybe 4 p.m. And we'll make this till 4:30. We will assign it to myself, obviously. In this case, it's Daniel Zhu, who's the test user. And I will write here, this is a demo for Google verification process. And we will save this. Now you can see it right here. Everything looks good. Now let's go to the Google Calendar. Let me go here, Google Calendar. Okay, notice that something has actually showed up in my calendar right here. It's called Google Verification. It's from 4 to 4:30. It looks Google Verification Demo. Everything looks good. And this is really the intended entire use of this entire system. Okay, now because this is probably my third or fourth review, I just tried to make things as complete as possible. I know that on multiple occasions, your team has asked to ensure that the name of the application is in tandem with Scarlet. We believe everything is in good order now. All the naming do match, but I would just wanted to show you that if I create another account, and so let's say I'm creating this online account here, I just wanted to make sure that this information here is exactly what you need. The client ID, or I know that you have asked about this and you might needed me to zoom into something, but I don't think it can be zoomed with the software that we use. Let me just check all this stuff in here. I can send you a link in the body of the submission just to ensure that you have everything you need. You know what? I will certainly copy this and I will put it inside the system. I believe because this is not a Gmail-based system, that's why we're getting this authorization error in here, because it's not really. I just picked any other account. Okay. I think so. Obviously, I can still click on this guy. This is exactly the one that we're supposed to connect. Everything looks good here. Okay. Should there be any questions, please be clear with what you need. We have gone through this lane a few times already. We want to make sure that this application gets approved. We've made all the necessary adjustments as required that Google has asked for. I hope we can get this whole thing done as quickly as possible. Thank you for your time.